Hi everybody and welcome back for another video game discussion. I'm Josh. Thanks for watching. As I've described in previous videos, I came to gaming with caution and a sense that most gaming genres and styles were not for me. I was prepared to stick with safe things like mascot platformers and catching up on retro games that I had missed. But over time, I graduated from platform games to action games and games like Metroid and Castlevania and the exploration-based action games based on those games, the Metroidvanias. And unbeknownst to me, this was a journey, a quest line, if you will, that was moving me closer and closer toward RPGs. Now, RPGs as a genre typify the kind of gaming that I found inscrutable and foreign and intimidating and scary. Role playing invokes images of tabletop gaming and LARPing and costumes and card games and math and dice and things that are just not my bag. I'm not into that. I just wanted to move around in a digital space and collect things, right? I didn't need math and costumes and stuff. But as I became more and more fascinated with Metroidvanias and with character progression and things like that, I started to wonder if maybe there wasn't something there in RPGs for me. So that's how I eventually discovered action RPGs. These are games with all of the menus and systems and progression of an RPG, but without the turn-based combat or the grids or the strategy, with real-time combat where you swing a sword or an axe or cast spells or whatever in real time in order to defeat the monsters or whatever. These were potentially the perfect hybrid of the things that the disparate things that I like about video games all wrapped up in one package. So I'll make another video down the line recommending some of my favorite action RPGs, but I'll just quickly rattle off a few favorites. In a broad stroke, the Ys series, YS, and the Tales of series, Tales of Arise, Tales of Symphonia, as a re-release on Switch recently. These series are on PlayStation and Switch, and they're pretty readily available, and they're really fun. They have great, deep systems, but they also just have fun action combat that's pretty easy to get into. And a lot of times what I like about these games is they do have a depth to the action that you can choose to explore, or sometimes they'll have a setting where you can just make it simpler so that you don't have to worry. A lot of good games let you customize the amount of depth that you want. Also, the Mana series. There's a remake of a classic game called Trials of Mana, which is on Switch, and that's a really good one. Colorful, great graphics, and really fun to play. Now, eventually, I did dip my toes into strategy and turn-based RPGs, and I would say now that I enjoy them very much. I played the original Final Fantasy games and some cool indie games like Chained Echoes and Battle Chase Night War, I believe is what that game was called. I'll talk about those in some more detail eventually as well, but for now, I just wanted to offer my perspective for those who maybe are like I was, intrigued but intimidated by RPGs. And, I wonder if that name of the genre isn't part of the problem. I've already, touched on this frequently in my videos, that the nomenclature of video games, which is just kind of crowdsourced out of fans playing games and coming up with ways to talk about them, is filled with so many weird words like roguelike, roguelite, Metroidvania. I don't even know if most non-gamers know that it stands for role-playing game. I guess that's pretty simple and obvious. But I wonder if that name isn't part of what's off-putting about it. Role-playing implies some kind of performative, creative involvement that might sound like homework to some people. But in reality, the customization and inhabiting of a character, which is usually the first step when you play an RPG, is you get to sometimes choose between different types and classes, or even just appearances, and then you name the character, and then you begin the story. And that kind of gives this illusion that you are inhabiting this role in this character, and that this is going to be an experience of playing a role. But I really don't think that's the defining aspect of an RPG, the way it actually plays out. In fact, RPG characters tend to be these blank slate, mute boring characters. And playing the game isn't really about filling them with personality and living life as them. You're entering into a game loop of opening up a map, of going on quests, of battling and upgrading the character, but that's really just a sideways way of saying that you're customizing the gameplay, right? You're not really decking out this character. I know people like their characters and they get into them, and I know there are games that have more depth, but in reality I've had more fun with the characters in some platformers and action games than I have in RPGs. In RPGs it's really about tweaking that gameplay of and all the menus and stuff. Yeah, it's under the pretense of juicing up a character, but really you're just tweaking the gameplay is what you're doing. Anyway, I think that's all I have to say today. In future videos, I'll get more specific with some RPG recommendations and reviews and things like that. But for now, I just wanted to offer my perspective on this because I think this is one of those, if you're a newbie to games, as I was quite recently, and in many ways still am, this is one of those kind of, this feels like a gate you have to go through, or a gate that is kept. This feels like an intimidating thing that might be, that might feel like a stumbling block. And the people who might be positioned to help you are oftentimes kind of gatekeepery and jerky. And so if I can offer a friendly face and say, it's all silly and fun, and it's worth exploring. If it seems interesting to you, let me encourage you to do so. And let me know in the comments what your relationship is with RPG games. Are there any series or titles that you like? Is it intimidating to you too? Did you find your way to it in a certain way? I'd love to have that discussion. Thank you very much. That's all I have for today, and I'll catch you very soon. Josh out. Goodbye.